Is ready to help make your move a pleasant experience. Convenient locations, expert support, and a flexible rental process. With confidence, knowing your reservation is guaranteed, so your truck will be ready when you need. Visit truckman.com to reserve today. Join us on Saturday, March 14th, right after Championship Day, for the official MEAC Championship Day party. Fresh Radio's DJ B and legendary DJ B have FloHoops and celebrations and one more slap ride here in Norfolk. Tickets, tables, and event information go to
J.G. Fisher's direct staff will guide your family in creating a meaningful ceremony to honor the life of your loved one. Funeral services are as unique as life itself. Put your trust in the hands of the caring, experienced professionals at J.G. Fisher Funeral Services. Take comfort. J.G. Fisher Funeral Services.com.
In 1947, Jackie Robinson played his first game. The first classes during the Ocean and Grand Furniture first opened in stores in Hampton Roads, Virginia. To celebrate 73 years, here's our swell total deal. 40% off everything in the store, plus an extra 20% off. Everyone gets credit for every part at instant. starts in the 70s. I was recognized because North Carolina A&T is proud to be a leader in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We are racing to preeminence in research, business, agriculture, and the arts. With this expansion, you will achieve. You will achieve. You will finish because that's welcome, MEAC fans. Wow. Indeed, just like schools, we should share teams on the sport over. You can choose from autonomous sports approach, science
We're at the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia. It's the nightcap of day number 2 of this 2020 MEAC basketball tournament. And we're getting ready for our nightcap game as the number 10 Bison of Howard University take on the number 2 seed, the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. First game in the tournament for A&T. Howard knocked off the number 7 seed South Carolina State yesterday to advance. Hello, everyone. Charlie Neal, along with my partner, Cy Alexander. We welcome you to the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia. You look at these two teams, and it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Howard University came up with the big upset last night. They were, 1-15 in terms of tournament play, or I should say conference play, and they came up with a big win in the tournament. What do you expect in terms of keys to the victory for them tonight?
I tell you, Howard is going to be playing with a lot of confidence and a lot of focus because of the upset win last night. So they're going to try to carry that over into the game tonight.
On the other side for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, what do they have to do to avoid being upset?
Defend at a high level, share the basketball, and have balanced scoring. The Aggies are capable of having 5 people in double figures.
On the other side, when we talk about key players, one we're going to watch is C.J. Williams. And the reason we're going to watch him, he's the conference's all-time leading scorer, both men and women.
And I tell you what, he doesn't force the action. Plays under control, is very cerebral, but he can really shoot that 3 ball.
Ronald Jackson for the Aggies is the first-team all-conference selection. He's going to be a catalyst for them.
I tell you what, he's a high-major athlete, can score inside and out, plus he makes free throws in the clutch for the Aggies.
Well, the winner goes on to the semifinals on Friday. It should be a good one. It's number 10, Howard University, going against number 2, Aggies, and we'll be back with the opening tip-off from the Scope in Norfolk in just a moment. As we get ready to start the nightcap here from the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia, along with Cy Alexander, Charlie Neal. Only one time these two teams met during the regular season. That game was down in Greensboro, North Carolina. It was a 4-point game, so Howard played them pretty tough.
They played them very well, and they executed. And I got a chance to watch freshman Wayne Bristol have a big-time game. Played a lot better in that game against A&T than he did last night against South Carolina State.
The Aggies in their goal. Haygood jumping center. And the Aggies control the opening tip.
I was opening up in a wide 2-3 zone.
Cameron Langley dumps it down low. Gets it into Haygood. Haygood with the jumper, no good. And here come the Bison with the ball. Their first possession of the day. Phillip Jones bringing it up the floor.
A&T starting off in a soft man-to-man. High ball screen, backside lob. Nice switch by the Aggies.
Off the glass a little bit too hard that time. Wayne Bristol couldn't get that one to fall. Here's a 3-ball from the corner, and that's Tyler May, Jr. out of Farmville, North Carolina.
And when May is shooting the deep ball, he's a double threat because he's basically a mid-range Dwayne Wade type of game.
C.J. Williams with that shot off the glass, and we're tied at 2 apiece early on.
I was going to stick with that 2-3 zone and see if they can challenge the Aggies to make the shot. Nice bounce pass that time.
From Langley.
He is
Haygood.
Point guard personified. Cam Langley had 2 triple-doubles this year.
Started every game, 13 games in double figures. As you said, 2 triple-doubles. We're talking about points, rebounds, and assists.
Exactly.
Ronald Jackson gets it over. Jackson looking for it inside. Back outside, the 3-ball for Jackson, Andre Jackson.
Jackson and Jackson Law Firm.
It certainly is. They're going to call a travel. Of course, Howard University is coached by Kenneth Blakeney. He's in his first year. Played his collegiate basketball at Duke University.
Willie, one of the national championship teams.
Certainly was. Willie Jones is the coach of the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. He's an interim coach. Replaced Jay Joyner, who was put on an administrative leave midway through the season.
Right, and Coach Jones has done an excellent job. He actually played for me on one of my championship teams in 2003 at South Carolina State, and I gave him his first coaching opportunity as a grad assistant for me at Tennessee State University.
And then Coach Joyner have some pedigree with you also?
Oh, yeah, he was on the 95 championship team and 95-96, and also gave him his first coaching job at Tennessee State University. And he worked for me as an assistant at A&T.
Zion Cousins with one basket, but at the other end is Andre Jackson for the Aggies.
The Aggies attacking in transition. Coach Jones wants to play up-tempo. Pace and space is what he likes to call it.
C.J. Williams, the shot goes off the back of the iron. Here comes Langley. Over to May. May runs it down. Gets it in the... Keeps it alive. Andre Jackson now across court. They'll settle it down with Cameron Langley. Turnaround jumper in the lane is off the mark for Ronald Jackson.
Transition is critical for the Aggies.
We talked about the fact that they met only one time down in Greensboro. One of the things the Aggies were able to do in that game with Howard University was force 30 turnovers. And that's not something you're proud of.
Right. That's
it is if you're the Aggies, but not if you're Howard.
Not if you're Bison. But the Bison have to get back in transition because the Aggies want to run at every opportunity.
Shot clock at 6 seconds now. And they throw it away. They tried to get it over. Yeah.
They don't need to have.
They tried to get it over to C.J. Williams, the all-time leading scorer as far as the MEAC is concerned. As you look at Coach Blakeney, was an assistant at Harvard University. Tommy Amica, who's the head coach up at Harvard University, was an assistant coach on the Duke staff when Coach Blakeney was playing there.
I'll tell you what, Zion Cousins had a big game last night.
He certainly did.
And that's what Ron Jackson does. He's an animal on the glass.
Tyler May, the junior from Farmville, North Carolina, started 12 games, did not score when these two teams played earlier this year. Now there's a young man sitting on the bench for the Aggies who you think is the key for them this year.
Quay Parker, transferred from the University of Tennessee. High major athlete. They throw a lot of lobs to Quay Parker. They're holding him out tonight. Hopefully, for Coach Jones, he'll be ready on Friday.
Redshirt junior you're talking about, out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Timeout on the floor in a 2-point ball game here in our nightcap from the Scope in Norfolk. The Aggies of North Carolina A&T, number 2 seed, leading the number 10 seed by 2.
Here, you will push forward, you will achieve, you will finish, because that's what Aggies do.
Eight to 6, our score here at the Scope in Norfolk, along with Cy Alexander, Charlie Neal, courtside for our nightcap, day number 2 of this 2020 MEAC tournament. The winner goes on to the NCAA tournament. Big announcement coming today from the commissioner or the head of the NCAA saying that the championship games in the NCAA this year will be joined by essential personnel only.
That's major right there. Nice move that time by Devin Haygood. He has a tendency to be inconsistent sometimes. And that's what Ron Jackson does. He's a glass eater. You got to get back versus the Aggies of North Carolina A&T State University. They always looking to push it.
10 to 6 ball game right now. Aggies by 4. Into the front court, almost a travel that time. And they get it across court to C.J. Williams. Inside, nice, easy layup by Zion Cousins.
Great body control and foot control by Zion Cousins. And you see Cal Foster about to come in the ball game. Had a great game last night for the Bison. Off the bench.
All the way across. This will be Andre Jackson. They call a player control foul, and that's going to go against Jackson.
Nice charge taking that time by Zion Cousins. Sometimes you don't see bigs want to take charges. They want to try to block everything, but he was in great position to take the offensive foul.
Kyle Foster into the lineup for Howard University, replacing Phillip Jones. Phillip Jones had 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists yesterday against South Carolina State. When these two teams played in Greensboro, he had 5 points and 4 rebounds. Down the baseline, back outside. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Scored a basket and one.
Nice ball fake that time by Foster, and he's continuing where he left off from last night. Nice little show and go.
18 points, 3 rebounds against South Carolina State. Let's look at it once again, and there's the foul.
On Haygood, I think it was. Yes.
Foster out of Hampton, Virginia, went to Bethel High, right down the road. Misses the free throw, though. He's a 75% free throw shooter, and we have a tie ball game at 10 apiece.
Howard's going to stay in the wide zone. 2-3.
Nice lob pass, and Haygood finishes. Senior out of Ypsilanti, Michigan, and a steal. Back inside, Jackson. He has it blocked by Cousins. Turnover, Howard University. Remember, it was 30 when these two teams played before. Little alley-oop action that time, and Ron Jackson finishes it.
I tell you what, they throw at least 10 lobs a game.
That's their MO, huh?
Right.
We're the lob team.
Remind me of the 1981 Howard Bison dunk patrol with James Ratcliffe, the late James Ratcliffe, Larry Spriggs, Bernard Perry, James Terry, and Rodney Wright.
Travel is the call. A turnover for North Carolina A&T. Aggies came in averaging just about 13 turnovers per game, which is pretty good.
Right, for a team that runs
as much as
they do.
Forcing 16 on the opponents.
And you got Tyrone Lyons coming into the ball game now. He's a super sub from Amityville, New York. Can really shoot the ball mid-range and long range.
Nate Garvey with the ball in his hands right now, working against Ty May. CJ. Nice layup off the glass with the left hand.
Nice straight line drives by CJ Williams. Such a smooth player.
And he does it without a lot of fanfare.
Exactly.
That was one of the things we were impressed about him last night.
Nice rebound over the top.
Cousins.
Not Cousins.
Kyle Foster now working against May. Here's C.J. Williams being guarded by Lyons. And there's a timeout being called by Coach Willie Jones.
Somebody fell asleep that time on the defensive end. One guy thought, I think Ron Jackson thought they were playing zone. They were actually playing man, and he lost his guy, who was C.J. Williams.
His Howard University team started MEAC play 0-14. They had one win along the way in MEAC play, and that was against Maryland Eastern Shore next to the last game of the season. That was their first MEAC win. They had gone 0-14 to that particular point. They win one, and then they lose their season finale to Delaware State 100-88.
A big win last night, though.
They certainly did have a big win last night right here against South Carolina State. 70-63 was the final in that game. They led by 15 at the half, but never trailed, and they blocked 7 shots.
So they're going to play with that kind of confidence tonight because they got that win under their belt. And again, we talk about having played one game before the upper-seeded team. You know, they're kind of getting the kinks out over the first 10 minutes of the first half.
You got to see the Aggies quite often this year. They started their MEAC schedule 8-1, lost 2 straight in Florida when they went on the road against Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman. But then they won 4 of their last 5. The unfortunate part is the reason they're number 2 seed coming in is they lost the season finale to North Carolina Central in Durham, North Carolina. They split with them during the regular season. They won in Greensboro, and they lose at home.
And that game was a battle.
They lose on the road,
rather. It was a great college basketball game on ESPNU. And Coach Will Jones, as the interim head coach, has kind of changed the style from what Jay Joyner had. They want to get up and down and want to run at every opportunity and play a little more freer on the offensive end. They throw a lot of lobs.
Of course, Will Jones takes over for Jay Joyner, who was put on administrative leave midway through the season. And Will Jones has taken over and done a pretty good job. You know, you talk about some of these pre-conference matchups. They played UNC Greensboro. They went to Utah State and played. They played Kent State. They played Wake Forest right down the road. And they played Illinois.
And that was the last game. They played Wake Forest really well. I had the opportunity to broadcast that game on the radio. But that was the last game that Jay Joyner coached.
Wake Forest, they lost that one by 12,
right.
76-64.
Single-digit game most of the game.
$11:45 in the first half. That's the time remaining. Fred Cleveland.
He was the runner-up for Player of the Year in Chicago.
That one goes off of the hands.
He's the kind of young man that if he makes his first 3 ball, he could make 4 or 5 in a row. and he has a green light to shoot it, and so he's going to keep shooting whether he misses or makes.
Well, he's a 33% three-point shooter out of Leo Catholic High in Chicago. Scored in double figures and shot clock violation. They call him kind of a combo guard, would you say?
Yeah, he can play because he can shoot so well. He can play the off guard, but you see his size, he's more suited to be a point guard.
He's 5'10".
That's stretching it.
Scored double figures in 11 games and made the all-rookie team for the MEAC this year. 11:10 is the time remaining.
Nice motion offense right now by the Bison.
Garvey back out. Here's Zion Cousins. Bristol. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Turn around by Bristol. In and out. Zion Cousins couldn't get the rebound. They did a good job boxing him out. Travel is the call. Turnover.
And I think you'll see Andre Jackson coming in now to replace Fred Cleveland.
So Jackson comes back into the lineup. The freshman takes a seat on the bench. All tied at 14 apiece. And this foul is going to be whistled against C.J. Williams, I believe.
No, it's against, it's on A&T.
Correction.
I think
it was on Andre Jackson, rather.
Jackson. And Asicki had a great game last night off the bench.
Coming in for Zion Cousins. Ronald Jackson guarding the inbounds pass.
He is a high major athlete, is Ronald.
C.J. Williams along the baseline. Can't get it to fall, a little short. And Ronald Jackson comes down with the rebound. Gets it into the hands of Langley. Cross pass down low. Along the baseline goes Lyons. Gets it back out. Short jumper from the free throw line by May. And it'll stay on the Aggies' end of the floor.
Nice contest that time on the little mid-range jump shot by Ron Jackson. Nice contest by Asicki.
And nice little basket short jumper by Tyler May.
He has a nice mid-range game. It reminds me of a poor man's Dwayne Wade. Transferred from VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University.
A&T shooting 46% early on from the field. And there's a pick. And there's C.J. Williams. And you got a player down right now for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. That's Cameron Langley, Jr. out of Greensboro, North Carolina.
He's without question the best point guard in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Cam is the straw that stirs the drink for the Aggies.
So they want to look at that last play down that caused the injury to Cameron Langley. Something happened down there. We're not sure what happened. He just came off of a screen. They said nothing there, just out of bounds.
That's when you're setting a good screen.
Right. Here we look at it once again.
I used to always tell my guys, make contact on your screens. Don't be illegal, don't be dirty, but make contact. Let them know you're there. And that's what young man from Howard did, Asicki.
He ran into a fixed object.
Right. 6'9", 230. It's a men's basketball play. Just a straight, nothing illegal. Just a nice screen.
And we're tied at 16 apiece.
Bison sticking with the wide 2-3 matchup zone.
Cleveland looking to pass it off, and he does to May. Down low, along the baseline, back out to Cleveland. May has it. In the corner, here's Cleveland for three. Missed everything. And we're going to stay on the Aggies' end.
And Cleveland, even though he shot an air ball, he has a short memory. He's like a defensive back.
He said, I'm going to shoot it again.
I'm going to shoot it again.
You give it to me, I'm going to shoot it again, right?
Like a defensive back.
The right idea by Tyler May, but the pass couldn't get into the hands of Devin Haygood.
Thought Haygood was going to attack the rim. He threw it right for him to catch it and go to the rim.
And Haygood stood still.
He stood still.
So going to the sideline now for Howard is Garvey. And checking back in. Yeah, checking back in is Phillip Jones. He started the game for Coach Blakeney. Under 9 minutes to go here in the first half. Winner goes on to play the winner of the Norfolk State-Coppin State game on Friday. Norfolk State-Coppin will play tomorrow. That's a long three. That time off the hands of Kyle Foster.
That was NBA range that time.
It was past NBA range. He was almost in the parking lot on that one. But that wasn't too far, but it still was a three by Tyler May. No, they said it's a two.
A good offensive performance is Mr. May.
Almost a turnover. CJ gets it in the corner.
Nice baseline drive that time by Cal Foster to create the contact and the foul on Ronald Jackson.
8:16. That's the time remaining. 14 fouls against the Aggies already in this contest. Howard with just one, with 8:16 to go. First half. All the way across the court. Here's CJ with 10 seconds left. And one. Score the basket.
Move. Don't be so mean, young fella. Little razzle-dazzle off the drive.
CJ Williams, this is why he was the leading scorer all time in the conference. And he's going to go to the line to try to complete the three-point play.
What a nice spin off the bounce that time. A little soft kiss off the glass. C.J. Williams.
Last season was first-team all-conference selection. Made the all-rookie team as a freshman and completes the three-point play and gives his team a one-point advantage.
He has 12 points already.
19-18. Howard with the lead.
13 now. That was a nice little pull-up by Fred Cleveland.
1 point lead, and the lead switches hands again. Aggies take over. Kyle Foster.
Good on-ball defense by Fred Cleveland to create a push-off situation by Wayne Bristol. And we saw the frustration set in last night with Mr. Bristol, and it appears that it's still a little bit, you know, in his head, because he didn't play anywhere near the way I saw him play in Greensboro 2 weeks ago.
1 point ball game. The Aggies lead it. Along with Cy Alexander, Charlie Neal here at the Scope in Norfolk. Our nightcap of a 4-game day for the MEAC here on FloHoops. And the Aggies of North Carolina A&T with a 1 point advantage, shooting 47% from the field, 50% from the field. Howard shooting 47%. So they're both teams doing a pretty good job of shooting.
I'll tell you what, it's a pretty even game right now. That's why you only have a 1 point differential. And give Howard credit again. We talked in the opening that they were going to come out and play with a lot of confidence based on what they did last night.
Against South Carolina State, the 7-point victory. The jumper in and out that time for Cleveland, but the offensive putback is strong by Lyons.
Lyons has really improved, gotten a lot stronger since his freshman year. Lived in the weight room over last summer.
Psychology major. Lyons had played only 6 minutes when these two teams played in Greensboro, and finished the game no scoring, but with 4 fouls. 10 seconds on the shot clock for Howard. From downtown deep, the ball doesn't fall for Bristol.
Nice two-handed rebound by big Harry Maurice, freshman.
Maurice is in there, freshman out of the United Kingdom, where he averaged just about 17 points a game in high school, a mechanical engineering major. Some big bodies in there now for the Aggies.
Yes, two guys 6'10".
There's Maurice. Easy layup with the left hand.
And he has the ability to, he has the European type game that he can step out and shoot the three ball.
Maurice shooting 41% from three-point range. So, yeah, that says something.
Right.
Shot clock again under 10 for Howard. Down the lane. Swatted away. And it's 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
And now you have an injured Bison on the floor. I think it's the young freshman, is it? Yes. Bristol.
Wayne Bristol out of Upper Marlboro High, St. Thomas High. 5 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 steals last night against South Carolina State. So pretty impressive off the start for that young man yesterday in this tournament, his first MEAC tournament. It's a big body in guarding the inbounds pass. That's Devin Haygood.
You've got 2 guys for the Aggies that are 6'9", 6'10".
And that's what happened. Remember, I was just looking at the fact that his size of Haygood at 6'8", guarding the inbounds pass. Maurice comes in at 6'11", and his jumping ability created a turnover for Howard University.
He was really big and was active on the baseline defender.
Left-handed shot doesn't fall that time. And it's going to stay on the Aggies' end as it went off of the hands of Kyle Foster. We're going to stay for the Aggies again.
Nice little circle action on the baseline out of bounds play that time for the Aggies.
Shot clock under 10. And now a panic shot that goes in for Cleveland.
I told you, short memory.
27-19, an 8-point lead now for the Aggies. Cleveland, a freshman out of Chicago, shooting 33% from three-point range. And he hit the big three that time. But at the other end, that three ball doesn't fall. And the rebound by Lyons for the Aggies. Into the front court. Inside. Little baby hook. And it goes down for Haygood. And now Coach Blakeney wants a timeout. So Devin Haygood out of Ypsilanti, Michigan. Started his career at Youngstown State. 3rd in the conference in block shots. It's a big field goal that time. And it's a 10-point lead.
And that's what the Aggies are capable of doing. They are capable of going on nice offensive runs because they have so many weapons. They can throw the lob, they can shoot the three, or they can play the post-up game. And they've done a little bit of everything in this first half. They have made, one three-point shot. They have not gone to the free throw line, but they're shooting like 52% from the field.
Howard only has 2 team fouls against them so far in the game. But this Aggie team came in as the 3rd leading scoring team in the conference and 3rd in field goal percentage, 3rd in three-point percentage, 3rd in rebounding, 1st in assists, 2 in steals, and 2 in blocks.
They are
they're in the top 3 in all those categories. Yeah.
Consequently, they have the kind of record and they have the kind of season they had. This is their Bonnet 1-3-1 zone. We utilized this when I was head coach at A&T and took it all the way to the NCAA tournament.
So Will Jones is copying you. And alley-oop.
Yeah, that's 3.
Ron
I'm
Jackson.
telling you, they shoot for 10 a game.
That's the goal, right?
That's the goal.
Did that come from you, Coach? Did you used to do that?
We did. Yeah.
So Will Jones is like remembering what he did when he played for you.
Well,
and also when he coached.
When he coached, yeah. But he's doing a heck of a job. He's doing a heck of a job. And Coach Joyner, and talking with him a couple times, he has complimented the fact that Coach Jones has taken his team to a whole nother level.
You know, the most interesting thing about this whole scenario with A&T is Coach Joyner's son is on the team.
He's still on the team.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's a freshman out of Greensboro, North Carolina. He hasn't played since late February against the UMES squad. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Steal. Here we go. Missed it with the left-handed dunk. He tried. Got more of our cameraman than he did the basket. From the corner. That one falls for Wayne Bristol, the freshman from Upper Marlboro.
That's what I saw him do 2 weeks ago versus the Aggies.
Wayne Bristol. Last 5 games, Bristol 16 points per game and scoring in double figures in 18 games this season. It's tied up. And the held ball alternating possession arrow favors the Aggies, who lead it by 9 points right now with 3:18 remaining in the first half here at the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia. Back with more in a moment. Along with Cy Alexander, Charlie Neal here at the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia. 3:18 remaining in the first half. Bethea wearing number 24 tonight. He had his jersey ripped last night. Normally wears number 4. And he had to wear that as a spare. They didn't have another 4. It's like we saw earlier tonight, Jabri Blunt.
Had to go to 11.
He went from 2 to 11.
Right.
It comes into Bethea. Out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Baseline jumper. This one falls for the freshman.
2 in a row for Bristol.
Wayne Bristol. 7-point game. 31-24. Jumper by Cleveland is good. That's a 2. We say like he has a short memory, right?
Short memory. Forgot all about that air ball.
Well, that happened so long ago. He
Right.
said that's a distant memory.
Distant memory.
Bethea off the iron, no good. Defensive rebound, Ronald Jackson. Cam Langley. Left-handed 3 by Tyrone Lyons, and they're going to keep it on the Aggie end. Lyons at 6'6". They list him at 6. He looks taller, doesn't he?
He's definitely taller than 6 foot. Just like Hagood is taller than 6'8".
And I'm shorter than 7 feet.
If that's what Ronald Jackson does, he goes after every rebound in a crowd. He has the athleticism to get up and get it done.
Turnover.
He walked that time.
A little travel.
A little traveling music.
Aggies, both teams have done a pretty good job of protecting the basketball tonight. That's only the 8th or 9th turnover for North Carolina A&T tonight. C.J. Williams. They're going to call a player control foul.
Nice charge taking that time by Cam Langley.
Minute 35 to go before the break. Down the lane, along the baseline, gets it inside. Nice little baby hook, and that falls down for Haygood.
That play was all set up because of the vision of Cam Langley.
11-point game now, and almost a turnover by Tyler May.
And it was a turnover on the Bison.
It was. Tyler May was there to create that turnover. Nice behind the back, no look pass. And score the basket this time. Cam Langley, junior out of Greensboro's West Guilford High. And he'll go to the line to try to complete the three-point play as a 52% free throw shooter. And it's interesting, he got the pass. And this is a young man who leads the conference in assists.
Right. The nice interior passing by Haygood to Langley. Usually it's the other way around.
He averages 7.7 assists per game, misses the free throw. The putback doesn't go, and it's going to go back to the Bison of Howard University.
And that's if there's a weakness in the game of Cam Langley, it's his inability to make free throws.
Only 52%. He had 13 assists twice this year against Maryland Eastern Shore and North Carolina Central. He also had 11 rebounds in a game against Central and Florida A&M. But his season high was 22 points, and that came against the Bears of Morgan State.
Doesn't mind getting in there and then mixing it up with the bigs.
He had 9.6 rebounds and 10 assists when they played down in Greensboro against this Howard team.
In the matchup zone that the Aggies are utilizing is causing Howard a little bit of confusion.
Down low, inside. And a foul is going to be called, and that's going to send Tyrone Lyons to the stripe. That foul is going to be whistled against Zion Cousins. His first.
That was a nice look ahead by Langley.
So both teams with 6 fouls now. Howard went for a long period without picking up any fouls as a team. Lyons, a left-hander out of Amityville, New York, went to St. Anthony High.
And that's the hometown of his former head coach, Jay Joyner. Amityville.
Out on the island.
Yep, I recruited him from out there.
Wasn't Jaws out there at one time?
The Amityville Horror. I didn't stay there at nighttime though.
Smart man. Shot clock and game clock, 10 seconds. They block the shot of Maurice. Off his hands in time, it's good.
What a nice pass that time. And the young freshman, Bristol, that's a momentum builder right there to make that shot at the buzzer.
So it's a 12-point lead at halftime. That was definitely off his hands before the buzzer went off or the light went off. And so we go to the break at halftime. It is a 39-27 lead And it's the Aggies trying to advance to the semifinals. Back with our...
Because that's what Aggies do.
We're at halftime here at the Scope in Norfolk. A 12-point lead for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T over the Bison of Howard University, 39-27. And I'm joined here at halftime by Earl Hilton, who's the athletic director at North Carolina A&T down in Greensboro. 10 years you've been there. Boy, we've seen a lot of great things happening athletically for the Aggies over this long period of time. First of all, we talk about how well you've done in football with the Celebration Bowl, winning just about every one you played in. Also, the track team, how well they've done, especially on the indoor. They just did something nobody's ever done. They won 4 back-to-back on both men and women on the indoor side. Your bowling team is doing very well. I mean, it keeps going on and on and on. It's like the Energizer Bunny. What do you attribute the success to?
Fantastic coaches, wonderful student athletes.
Well, one of the things that in order to get those student athletes, there has to be something that brings them to North Carolina A&T.
Well, we have a lot to offer academically. I mean, the institution, from an academic perspective, and these are students first, has a tremendous attraction to young student athletes who want to position themselves in such a way that they can have success after their athletic career is over in their professional careers. And certainly A&T has a rich history of providing that kind of educational foundation.
And of course, your basketball team has had a pretty good year, both on the men and the women's side. You know, is it anything you guys don't do well?
Well, I hope we don't lose well.
Right. Well, that's very, very important. When you look down the road and we looked at what's happening, we're in a transition. This is probably the busiest time of the year athletically.
It really is. People don't think it's the fall.
You got the fall sports going into the spring sports.
Right.
You're transitioning from basketball into baseball, softball, golf, tennis, outdoor track, and all of those things.
Exactly.
How has that been in terms of those transitions, and how has the university been able to keep up?
That's a good question, and you're correct in your assessment that this is the busiest time of year. People think it's frequently the fall because of football, but we have, 14 sports in season right now, and so that's a lot to put your arms around. We, as you has suggested, we've had a lot of success coming out of indoor track. Football season, certainly with Celebration Bowl and the conference championship. Bowling is in a good place. I'm looking forward to conference championships next week. We're excited about where our baseball and softball teams are right now. We see good things in golf, and we're making progress in tennis. So we are pleased with the development that we're seeing. Certainly we are not where we want to be yet in some of those areas, but I believe we're making progress in the right direction.
When you look at the overall academic performance situation,
APR, graduation
APR, and all of those things, how does A&T stack up with everybody else, especially in the MEAC and HBCUs?
I'm not certain that I'm competent to compare us to the other schools. I know that from a graduation perspective, from a GSR and an APR and an FGR, we are in places we've never been before in terms of graduation rates. Very excited with the work that our student athletes and our academic staff, our support staff that work with these young men and women have done to position them to have success in the classroom and on the field.
One of the concerns that's going on around the world right now is the coronavirus.
Sure.
How has North Carolina A&T addressed this pandemic?
Well, this has been a topic of conversation, as you might well imagine, every day for some time. And it continues to unroll and unfold. The institution and the system, the North Carolina system, continues to monitor and make decisions that are consistent with the best interests of our students and the educational environment. This is an evolving situation, and certainly one that we anticipate will continue to be dynamic, certainly for the next several weeks and perhaps months, as we work through this as an institution, as a state, and as a nation.
NCAA today, of course you're probably aware, came out saying that all these championship events coming up, they're going to just essential personnel will be there. They're not going to allow fans. Your thoughts on that?
It's going to be different. Certainly the young men and women enjoy playing for fans. There's certainly energy that's derived from that. But at the end of the day, health, safety, welfare of our fans and of our student athletes is our primary concern. And so we've never been in this space before. This is something that's new to us, and I cannot second guess the notion that we ought to be more cautious than aggressive in this area. And so I can support this.
All right, Earl Hilton is our guest here at halftime. The athletic director for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. His team enjoying a half-point advantage over Howard University. And we'll be back with more of our halftime activities from the Scope in Norfolk in just a moment. Back here at halftime at the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia, where the Aggies of North Carolina A&T are enjoying a 12-point lead over Howard University. I'm joined by one of our corporate partners, the United States Marine Captain Valerie Earhart is with us right now. And, of course, the Marines being a part of what the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference has done over the years. Why do you feel it's so important for the Marines to be a part of what the MEAC?
I think the MEAC represents not only excellence, I say that as someone who's a former MEAC athlete, but also the importance of being a part of the community, the importance of mentoring young children as they move through the ranks. And so I think the Marine Corps sees the importance in that, and that's why we always come to this tournament. It's our 9th time coming to make sure that there's a positive reminder of our support.
Now you're based in Washington, D.C. What is your particular duties and job as a captain with the Marines?
So I'm a lawyer, and my job in Washington, D.C. is with the National Security Litigation Unit. And prior to that, I was in the Appellate Defense Council.
So you recruit. You're looking for people who want to be the few, the proud.
We are always looking for good bodies.
When you talk about slogans, honor, valor, fidelity, commitment, those are 3 things. By sea and by land, no better friend, no worse enemy. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, and a long list of other slogans. Which one do you find yourself using the most?
You know what? You actually just said it. It's the few and the proud. And to me, it just means a lot, and it speaks for itself that so few people have the opportunity and the ability to do something. It's something you can really be proud of. Like these athletes, so few people get to be Division I athletes.
Were you an athlete?
At this level. I was.
Where?
I played up at Bethune-Cookman.
You played basketball?
I played basketball at Bethune-Cookman.
Who was your coach?
Sandra Booker.
Sandra Booker, who's here today.
Is she?
She is here today.
I have not seen
She's
her
the Associate Athletic Director at Bethune-Cookman University.
Yes, I did know that.
So you saw your team lose earlier today.
I did not see them lose.
You weren't here.
I shut my eyes.
But you heard about it.
I did hear about it.
Well, it's great seeing you. We look forward to seeing you at the Hall of Fame breakfast tomorrow, which
yes.
the Marine Corps is a very big part of that. And glad you could join us. Captain Valerie Earhart, the United States Marines, one of our corporate partners here at the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. We'll be back with our second half from the Scope in Norfolk in just a moment.
Welcome back to the second half of the Howard North Carolina A&T State University game.
As we start the second half here.
He's utilizing that half-court 1-3-1 trap with the length of Ron Jackson at the point of it.
C.J. Williams with 13 points in the game. They'll try the 3-ball, and that one falls for Garvey. Nate Garvey with that basket.
2 threes in a row now for the Bison. 3 to end the half, and a 3 to start the second half.
39-30, a 9-point ball game. 1 minute gone by, and the Aggies turn the ball over.
Twice now.
That's their 11th turnover of the game.
And that's what they did not do in the first half. Nice rim protecting that time by Devin Haygood.
And a foul. And this one is going to be whistled against Haygood.
And I see some growth in Wayne Bristol. He's playing with a lot more confidence right now than he did any time at any point last night.
And he's a freshman out of St. Thomas High, business major in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. He still had 5 points, 5 rebounds, and a couple of blocks and 2 steals in that win against South Carolina State. Made the all-rookie team. He's 3rd in free throw percentage in the conference. And he makes a pair.
Playing really well. Hitting that big 3 at halftime probably gave him a lot of confidence going into the locker room.
Lead is 7 right now for North Carolina A&T. They led by 12 at the half. That one going against Phillip Jones. That'll send Cam Langley to the line.
And he has been less than stellar at the free throw line this season. As well as he's played, that's the only little glitch in his game.
0 for 1 so far tonight. That one rolls out. He should have stayed in there. Rolled all the way across and then came back out.
That's the kind of luck he has at the free throw line.
Junior out of Southwest Guilford High and Greensboro, missed them both. Chance for the Bison to cut it down to 5 points. C.J. Williams. Again, one of the things you're impressed about him, he doesn't force action.
Not at all.
You know, you see some players who are prolific scorers. Every time they touch the ball, they're going to put it up, but he doesn't, as we get a basket by Nate Garvey that cuts the lead to 5. And a missed shot at the other end by Devin Haygood. Travel. Yeah, he picked up that pivot foot, and they caught it. And that was Phillip Jones with the turnover for Howard. A chance for them to put it to 3 points, and they just blew that one, didn't they?
As A&T has been ineffective on the offensive end the first 3 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, they have not scored here in the second half. Howard University has outscored them 7-0 to start this second period. In the lane, that is short. Still, it won't go in, but that time, finally, Ronald Jackson gets it to fall.
That's what he does. He's a glass eater for the Aggies, and he's an excellent free throw shooter.
At 76%. First team all-conference selection is Ronald Jackson out of Clay County, Florida. Went to Hillsborough High, Fleming. He went to a couple high schools down there. And he makes the free throw and completes the three-point play. And it's 42-34.
Half-court 1-3-1 trap.
8-point game. Down the lane, and they're going to call a foul, and this one's going to be called against Cam Langley. Checking into the Howard University lineup is Kyle Foster, and he'll give Phillip Jones a break. Phillip Jones goes to the bench. Foster comes into the lineup for Howard University.
Nice up and under move that time by Zion Cousins. Nice show and go.
Zion Cousins had a pretty good game yesterday, and he wants to continue where he left off.
Playing with a lot of confidence.
All these Zions pretty good basketball players, aren't they?
Right.
There's another Zion we've been watching.
Bad. It's not bad.
CJ pulls up for the 2-point jumper. It's good.
We got a ball game here, Charlie. Easy money for CJ Williams.
4-point game right now. It was a close game when they played in Greensboro. It was a 4-point finish and win by North Carolina A&T, 71-67. That was on A&T's home floor. And it'll be
7 seconds on the shot clock.
from the corner, deep, it's good. It's a 2.
Nice ball movement that time by the Aggies. Got it on the strong side to the weak side. Ron Jackson had a nice little pull-up.
There's another 3 ball. That's the back of the iron. No good from Garvey. That's a 3 off the mark for Jackson. Andre Jackson this time.
Jackson and Jackson Law Firm.
So that foul went against Ron Jackson. And there's a timeout on the floor. 6-point ball game. Aggies trying to get to the semifinals to play the winner of Norfolk State, Coppin State. They'll play tomorrow. Back with more from the Scope in just a moment. Back here at the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia. Want to remind a lot of our viewers about the MEAC Hall of Fame taking place tomorrow morning at 9:30 at the Sheridan Norfolk Waterside. Some great people going in. Quinn Gray, Cornell Maynor, Chris McNeil, Jana Millen, Alvin Wyatt, former coach on the men and women's side. Coached women's basketball and was the head football coach at Bethune-Cookman University. Of course, Jana Millen not able to make it. She still lives in Croatia and unable to get a flight that would bring her to the United States where she could participate in tomorrow's festivities. More importantly, speaking of the coronavirus, we just found out that the NBA, believe it or not, has suspended the rest of their season.
That's serious.
That's serious.
That's serious right there.
15:33, the time remaining here. We know what the NCAA has already said. Essential personnel only. The NBA, rather than playing the empty arenas, just suspended the season in general.
So we wait for the playoffs.
Wonder how that's going to work. That's going to be interesting.
Right, how they figure that out.
Just wherever you are now.
Right, end of story.
Right.
You were half a game out of the top 8. Well, you just don't make the playoffs. Good defensive sequence that time. Set up in a 2-3 zone by the Aggies.
Pull-up jumper, in and out. But the offensive rebound pulled down by Jackson.
Tell you what, He's a glass eater.
Yeah, Ronald Jackson. There he is with the ball in his hands. Back into Ronald Jackson. He is fouled. He's going to go to the line. Looks like C.J. Williams picks up the foul. It is on C.J. Williams. That is his third personal foul. C.J. is fouled out of 2 games this season. Last night, C.J. had a pretty good night. 10 points, 3 rebounds against this team when they played in Greensboro. And last night against South Carolina State, 24 points, 3 rebounds. He was 9 of 10 at the free throw line and 3 of 4 from three-point range.
And he doesn't force the issue.
Ronald Jackson is playing a solid game for Coach Will Jones and the Aggies of North Carolina A&T.
He got 11 points and 9 rebounds. He'll get a double-double. He's a double-double machine.
He certainly is. 46-38 our score.
Just got it. Just got his 10th rebound.
North Carolina Central beat Delaware State earlier tonight. Recapping the day's activity on the women's side, Maryland Eastern Shore upset Bethune-Cookman, and we got a 3-ball this time from Fred Cleveland.
A little big man.
49-38.
And that's what the Aggies can do. They can hit you boom, boom, boom right quick with some type of offense, whether it's a lob or a 3-ball or an offensive board by Jackson. And that's what makes them so tough to defend.
And as the young man is a 33% three-point shooter. And it's a 49-38 ball game, and Coach Blakeney wants to stop the bleeding, and he calls a timeout real quickly. But more importantly, we were talking about Maryland Eastern Shore women knocking off the #1 seed Bethune-Cookman earlier today. Also, Norfolk State, no problems getting by Howard University to advance to the semifinals on Friday. And, of course, on the men's side, just before this game, we saw North Carolina Central beat Delaware State.
I'll tell you, again, in talking about North Carolina Central, if they can get the kind of perimeter play they got today on Friday from Perkins, Kaiser, Blunt, and there was another Graves. That opens everything up for Blunt when those 3 guys are shooting from the perimeter.
Sure.
That makes you can't just double him.
Easy.
It makes,
and he's the player of the year.
Exactly.
We also saw on the ladies' side, Ms. Hicks, the player of the year, both offensively and defensively for. And he was the offensive player of the year. Bethune-Cookman has the defensive player of the year, Pope.
Yeah. But she's got such quick hands. Unbelievable how quick her hands are.
I was kidding her after the game, and we were talking about the fact that she was 2 steals away from setting the conference record for 10 steals in a game, or tying it at least. And of course, she didn't play the last maybe 6 minutes or 5 minutes of the ball game. And she said, blame coach. It's the coach's fault.
Coach is trying to get ready for Friday.
He wants to make sure she's healthy for Friday.
No doubt.
But, and you know, what was interesting, she has very long fingernails. And I'm saying,
really?
how you keep those nails like that, knocking the ball away all the time. I mean, did a fantastic job.
She has got quick hands.
Does a good job for Larry Vickers, who's the head coach down there. We'll get a chance tomorrow to see Morgan State and their coach of the year. And that is Ed Davis. On the women's side, we'll also see Norfolk State and Coppin State going at it. On the men's side, C.J. Williams on the wing to the left, top of the key, brings it back toward the middle. Back over to C.J. Foul. Almost right at the shot clock, too.
Got bailed out that time.
Yes, they did.
Throw up a prayer.
Cam Langley thought he had all ball. Two shots coming for Wayne Bristol, the freshman.
Perfect so far tonight from the line.
3 of 3, 11 points. Makes them both 4-4. 12 points for Wayne Bristol, the freshman. 9-point ball game. Ronald Jackson gets it back outside. Spinner in the lane. I don't know who he was passing it to because there was nobody there.
Right.
But blue jerseys. CJ off the glass, no good. But the follow that time was good by Zion Cousins.
Right place at the right time was Mr. Cousins on the follow-up.
Behind the back, a little spinner. Jumper, that's good by Tyler May.
Nice mid-range game. Again, he's a poor man's Dwayne Wade. Nice little mid-range game does Tyler May have.
How poor is he?
Real poor compared to Dwayne Wade.
Wide open. This will be a 3-ball off the back of the iron. And the battle was won by May. Ahead. Run down by Cleveland. Back outside. He goes to Cam Langley. Down the lane. Offensive rebound.
Big basket that time by Ron Jackson, and he created a foul situation.
And that went against Zion Cousins. That is his second.
Every time the Bisons make a little run, the Aggies have the answer.
Our officials tonight: Quay Crawford, Harold Harris, Bruce Rothwell. Ronald Jackson at the charity stripe. This one rims out. Was not able to complete the 3-point play.
Now the Aggies setting up their 1-3-1 half-court trap.
Cousins has it taken away. A lot of big bodies there. Tyrone Lyons being one of them. And a foul is going to be whistled this time against Cam Langley. Langley picks up his third. They've done a pretty good job of keeping people in ball games this year. Parker, who's not playing tonight, Quay Parker fouled out of 2 games this season. Cam Langley fouled out of 1. Ron Jackson 2. The person who had to struggle trying to stay in the game this year was Devin Haygood.
Right, Haygood.
He fouled out like 11 games this year. But everybody else did a pretty good job. Tyrone Lyons also fouled out of 1 game. There's a timeout on the floor. Just under 12 minutes of time remaining here. 11:56 as you look at Willie Jones, interim head coach, replacing Jay Joyner. Done a pretty good job of making this team the number 2 seed coming into today's tournament. We'll be back with more from the Scope in just a moment. 11:56 remaining. Cy Alexander, Charlie Neal, we're courtside at the Scope in Norfolk. MEAC basketball tournament time 2020. Winner of this game goes on to the semifinals on Friday. The winner of that one in the championship on Saturday. The winner of that goes on to the NCAA tournament.
This has actually been a well-played game. Both teams shooting in the 40th percentile, and right at 9, 10, 11 turnovers. So it's that was a big turnover right there. As I see Coach Blakeney walking the sideline, he realizes that every possession counts when you're down against this vaunted A&T Aggie team.
Down by 11 right now from the corner. There he is, Cleveland, Fred Cleveland. He's not bashful, is he?
No.
He missed his first one, and
airballed it.
He hasn't stopped since, has he? The lead is 14 now by the Aggies.
He's 3 for 4 from the 3 line.
C.J. Williams goes in, and he is fouled. Let's see who they're going to give it to. Could be one of 2 players that made contact with him. They're going to give it to Tyrone Lyons. It was between Lyons and May is who was going to get the foul.
This is only Williams. Second time at the line.
He has 15 points, playing with 3 fouls right now. And that's a rare miss for him.
Rare miss. And a big miss at this point in time of the game.
Second team all-conference selection, 3rd leading scorer in the conference, but the MEAC's all-time leading scorer came into the tournament with 2,322 points, had 24 last night. So that's 23-46 coming into today's game. There he is again. Oh, he says, hey, if they give it to me, I'm going to take it. There's a charge.
He was almost at the MEAC logo that time.
He was at half court.
Right. That was a heat check.
He said, now, if we win this one, watch tomorrow. I'll be in the parking lot. Right. 11:03, the time remaining. A&T played Wake Forest, Illinois. We talked about that in their preseason, pre-conference, I should say, schedule. George Washington, Notre Dame, Toledo, Ball State, Harvard, Penn, and Yale. Those are the teams that Howard played before they got into conference play.
I think they might have. Did they play Harvard at home?
They played Harvard in Washington, D.C.
Right.
At the Byrd Gymnasium. Tommy Amaker brought his team down. And that's the second time I know that's happened, because I happened to broadcast the game a couple of years ago when they came down from Boston to play in Washington, D.C.
That was a big 3 that last time by Kyle Foster. Nice little smooth mid-range shot by Tyler May.
And we have a turnover. Wayne Bristol inbound the ball for the Bison. Bristol looking. There goes Bristol, and he's fouled, and he'll go to the line.
Pretty good zone defense that time by the Aggies. They were moving and communicating and adjusting on the movement of the ball, and Bristol at the last 6 seconds just decided to attack and was able to create a foul situation for himself.
That was on Haygood, that foul. That's his 3rd. Bristol at the line. No.
And he and C.J. Williams, both who very rarely miss free throws, have both missed one in this clutch situation under the 10-minute mark. When you're trailing, you cannot afford to leave points on the board.
Especially if you're the number 3 free throw shooter in the conference.
Right.
Makes the second one, though. 58-47. Under 10 minutes to go in this one. Maurice in the lineup, has it partially blocked by Cousins. Jackson, and he's going to go to the line.
And that's what he does. He is so aware of the shot. He's quick to the ball, and he's got exceptional leaping ability. He's got really good hands to be able to catch the ball in the crowd. He gets so many second chance opportunities for the Aggies to keep bad shots alive.
Ronald Jackson at the free throw line for North Carolina A&T. 13 points for him tonight. Done a pretty good job in the charity stripe also.
No doubt.
I think he's, what, 4 or 5?
Yes. 11 rebounds, 14 points.
Second one is good.
5 of 6, 15 points.
13-point lead.
Right. Nice change of defense to the 2-3 now.
Nice little floater up and over by Garvey.
Nate Garvey has quietly had a real solid game.
Inside again, Ronald Jackson. He continues to impress, doesn't he?
No doubt. He's an all-conference caliber player. He was in the running for Player of the Year. Had they finished,
he might have gotten it.
Yeah, he probably would have gotten it.
Yeah. Instead, Jabri Blunt picked it up. And there's a 3-ball at the other end.
Cal Foster keeping the Bison in this game.
And a timeout on the sideline over there. We talk about the last 3 MEAC tournament championships. They belong to North Carolina Central. Last year they beat Norfolk State to win the championship. Rashawn Davis from North Carolina Central. That's what is so interesting, and we'll talk about that when we come back. They want to take a break. 8:26 is the time remaining. With 8:26 to go, a 10-point ball game here. Along with Sal Alexander, Charlie Neal, we talked about North Carolina Central winning the last 3 MEAC tournaments with players like Rashawn Davis, Pablo Rivas, Patrick Holt. All those guys are gone, but for some reason or other, Lavelle Moten just reloads. He doesn't have to rebuild.
He does a great job in getting transfers that can come in and play right away. High major transfers, just like Jabri Blunt.
Right. The team that won, the Aggies who are playing right now, they have the most MEAC tournament titles, 16. They had one point that they won 7 straight between 1982 and 1988.
Starting something again. Here we go again. I was on that staff at Howard. If we were the
you lost 6 of them.
See, man, I tell you, my guy, but boy, you know how to get me going. You had to wait till the second half to bring it up. And they won 6 in a row.
Oh.
Knowing that I was an assistant. And I see Coach A.B. Williamson sitting in the stands. He was the head coach at Howard at the time.
Maurice.
And he's an Aggie.
Right. Oh. And Don Corbett, of course, seemingly had your number, didn't he?
He did,
for years and years and years.
The one that...
But you did win 2.
Yeah,
you won 2, 80 and 81 with Larry Spriggs.
Right. That was the Dunk Patrol team. That was the first team, HBCU team, to play in the NCAA tournament. Played at Pauley Pavilion against Wyoming. And our host at the time was the late Dick Gregory.
Okay. Well, you beat South Carolina State in 80. You beat A&T in 81. Larry Spriggs, the outstanding player both of those years. In fact, he was outstanding player 3 straight years in the year that you lost in '79 to A&T. The ironic thing about it, at none of those times was A.B. Williamson the most outstanding coach.
That's a travesty.
Cy McLaren got it 2 of the years that you all won it.
Right. That's go figure. Talked to Larry Spriggs. Today is a Wednesday. Talked to him over on Sunday. And
Count the basket.
Tyler May has been very, very steady tonight for the Aggies. He's shooting 12 points now, 14 points, 7 of 10 from the field, 4 assists. Just a nice, steady game. And when the Aggies, if they're fortunate enough to get Quay Parker back, that gives them the same firepower as the NC Eagles.
Quay Parker, 7 points a contest. And when you talk about spreading the wealth around in terms of scoring, you have Andre Jackson, 9.4 points, Red Cleveland, 9.7, Tyler May, 8.4, Quay Parker, 7.2, Langley, 9.7. I mean, they you know, the only person actually in double figures is who?
Jackson.
Ronald Jackson. He's about 14.7, almost 15 points a game.
And that's what we talked about in the opening, the balanced scoring for the Aggies. It was a nice shot that time by Nate Garvey. Keeping the Bisons just close enough to be in the game. Nice rebound that time in a crowd by Cousins.
7 minutes and counting left in this one. C.J. Williams down the lane. And this one's going against Cam Langley. You're going to shoot 2?
It could be, if it's Langley, that's number 4. If it was on Langley.
It was.
Number 4 for him.
11-point game. At the free throw line, Kyle Foster. Howard University trying to keep their hopes alive as Foster hits the first of 2.
Big upset win last night. Knocked off the number 7 seed South Carolina State Bulldogs, and trying to see if they can do the same tonight and knocking off the number 2 seed North Carolina A&T State University Aggies.
It was interesting. We talk about this Howard team with C.J. Williams, who's the Rookie of the Year in the conference 2 years ago, or 2016-17 season. The following year was R.J. Cole from Howard University, who left and went to UConn.
Right, he's a high major guard. I know Kenny Blakeney's sad he left.
Nice little drive to the basket along the baseline for Tyler May.
Having an outstanding game, very efficient tonight.
C.J. Williams trying to follow. And a save.
Good hustle by Zion Cousins.
Actually, he did, when he touched the ball, he was out of bounds. Yeah, good call by Bruce Rothwell. Nate Garvey tried to save it, but when he did, he was standing on the line. Three balls short. It'll be Howard University getting possession. They'll bring it up the floor. Back into the lineup for the Aggies. Fred Cleveland going to the sideline is Cam Langley. There's Cleveland, who's had a pretty good showing off the bench today for these Aggies.
15 points.
Yeah, that's not chopped liver, is it?
No, sir.
Missed shot.
Bad break that time for the Bison.
Cleveland running the offense right now, has the ball in his hands. You know, you've had some great players come out of the windy city of Chicago. And they missed it. They're calling a charge on the pass off.
But they called it on Cleveland.
Yep, on the pass off. It was a great idea. And they still missed the dunk anyhow.
Right, anyway.
All of that. Nice follow-up by Cousins.
Nice Euro step that time by the young freshman, but a better follow-up, as you stated, by Zion Cousins. He's doing an excellent job, has 14 rebounds now for the game, and 10 points.
With 5:17 to go, and this time the timeout called by Coach Blakeney.
He's got to make a decision whether he continues with only 5 minutes to go, whether he continues to stay in that 2-3 zone, or whether he wants to come out and do a pressure and get back to try to create a quicker shot for the Aggies, because if he stays in the zone, if I'm Coach Jones, I'm going to utilize that shot clock.
Well, Clattrell Pope, for the second year in a row, gets Defensive Player of the Year from Bethune-Cookman University.
He is a rebounding machine.
Yes, he is. We'll get a chance to see him tomorrow. Of course, we talked about R.J. Cole being the Rookie of the Year in 2017-18. He was the Player of the Year last year, and then he left. I did all I could do for the MEAC. Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
Of course, Robert Jones from Norfolk State on the men's side was the Coach of the Year. Jay Joyner, Coach of the Year 2 years ago at North Carolina A&T. Lavelle Moten, Coach of the Year in 2016-17. And what is so ironic is we know that Willie Jones got the Coach of the Year for the Aggies, right, because he stepped into a situation and was able to take them to the promised land. But, you know, what is so ironic is most of the time when you win, and I remember Pat Riley saying this years ago when he was coaching in the NBA, that coaches that win a lot have trouble getting Coach of the Year honors.
Because it becomes like ordinary. I mean, that's what they expect.
So that's why Lavelle Moten doesn't have a whole lot.
Great defense. Got it back.
And a foul. That's going to be whistled against Tyrone Lyons.
The action is fast and furious right now. That man came up limping just a little bit, Wayne Bristol.
No? Did they call it charge? No. I saw people walking away.
Whoa. I missed that.
Yeah, so going to the line again for the Bison is Wayne Bristol.
Free throws now critical.
Especially in a 9-point ball game. Still a lot of time left, 4.5 minutes.
And you can't live to see another day missing free throws when you're down 9 points with less than 5 minutes to play. Didn't hold his follow through that last time.
They haven't missed a lot of free throws tonight, but they missed enough.
They missed the
5 that they needed to have.
Exactly.
They're what?
5 that they needed to have.
A&T has missed 4. But they've shot it and won and put points on the board other ways.
Again, Ron Jackson I was talking to an NBA scout about 2 weeks ago who came in to see Ronald Jackson, and he called me and he wanted me to give him an analysis of Ronald Jackson, and I said he's again, I used the analogy, he's a poor man Dennis Rodman. He'll go get that rebound in a crowd, rebound out of the area.
Ronald Jackson at the line.
He's made his free throws tonight in a big way.
Yes, he has. He really has. 18 points for him today.
Hoping Ronald gets an opportunity to play in the PIT Portsmouth Invitational Tournament.
28 is his season high in terms of point production. And he misses the first free throw, I believe. Is that his first miss tonight?
Yes.
He had those 28 points against North Carolina Central, and the foul is going to go against Ronald Jackson.
And the Bison are in the double bonus, but they haven't culminated. They haven't taken advantage because they'll go to the line and miss one, make one. And when you're trailing, every point matters.
C.J. Williams at the line. That one rolls in. You know, you had 3 Coach of the Years. We talk about Coaches of the Year. You had 3.
You know, we don't like to talk about those kind of things.
Fang had 6. Todd Bozeman had 3. Don Corbett had 6. A.B. eventually got 3. He did get 3, but he didn't get tournament.
Right.
But he got 3.
Nice drop off that time. Langley to Haygood. I think that might be it for Cam Langley, fouling a three-point shooter, and he's fouled out.
Cam Langley, he's going to go to the sideline with just 2 points.
Bad mental,
but 15 assists.
Right.
That's the thing and that's a season high for him. The 15 assists. He had 13 twice this season, and he had those against Maryland Eastern Shore and North Carolina Central. We'll be back with more from the Scope in just a moment.
And at life, because games end, but life keeps on going. The MEAC, educating student athletes for the game of life.
With Cy Alexander, Charlie Neal courtside at the Scope in Norfolk, 3:38 is the time remaining in this one. Howard University trailing by 9. The number 10 seed going up against the number 2 seed. And they have not gone away with 3:38 to go. It's still an opportunity and a 9-point ball game, especially going to the free throw line with Wayne Bristol. But like you said, Cy, they've got to put some points down when they're opportunities. They're free. That's why they call them.
That's why they call them that.
That's why they call them free.
And the fact that your quarterback has fouled out with 3:38 to go, and he has, what you say, 15 assists tonight.
15 assists.
Cam Langley.
Which is a season high for him. And these are 3 shots coming this way for Wayne Bristol.
He cut it to 7.
Makes all 3. 6-point ball game.
Fred Cleveland will have to handle the point guard duties. He's going to knock the shot down.
Boy, under the trees, May to put that up. That's May.
Big basket.
Down the lane.
Nice
Dishes off to Zion. Nice pass that time from Foster to Zion.
Nice field that time for the game from Foster.
Remember, there was only a 4-point victory for the Aggies at home against this Howard team. 71-67. Shot clock under 10 seconds. More a turnaround. Big body. Haygood uses his body and puts points on the board for the Aggies.
Aggies ran some flex action that last time. It was a big miss by Foster. Had it gone in with a big Been a big momentum change.
It's been a 5-point ball game.
Right.
2:10 remaining. Haygood.
Nice flex action with the cut and the pin down.
Andre Jackson cross.
And that's an excellent call by Coach Jones. He's turning the ball over, spacing the floor, and then when he gets the ball in the young man's hands like May, with all that movement, the alley to attack is right there.
So 9 team fouls. Both teams are shooting the double bonus with 1:52 to go. C.J. Williams
has just fouled out. Could be his last game in a Bison uniform.
He did just foul out. C.J. Williams out of Richmond, Virginia. Out of Millwood School, health management major.
And what a great solid game Tyler May has had. At 19 points right now. 20 points actually. 4 assists. Stepping in for Quay Parker as a starting 2 guard.
5 players in double figures for Howard University. 4 players in double figures for the Aggies. May with 21, Ronald Jackson with 18, Haygood with 12, Cleveland with 13. For Howard, Garvey with 10, Cousins with 12, C.J. Williams who just fouled out with 18, Bristol with 18, and Foster with 10.
Just what we said in our opening, balanced scoring by the Aggies, and for the Bison, they needed to play with confidence, which I thought they did. They really played and were right in this game. They really got to have some luck down this stretch now to cut into a 10-point lead with only 1:52, because the Aggies are going to milk the clock and get to the free throw line.
I think one of the most telling stories of this game is the rebounding.
Yes.
With North Carolina A&T owning a 10 rebound advantage, 37-27.
And a lot of that can be attributed to Ronald Jackson.
Ronald Jackson with 13 rebounds for the Aggies, but Zion Cousins also has 13 rebounds for Howard University.
That's an unforced turnover that time. That might have sealed it right there.
And this foul will be whistled against Phillip Jones. And we're shooting 2 shots the rest of the way, both sides. Tyler May going to the line. 21 points for him. 9 of 13 shooting, perfect at the line, and has 4 assists.
And if there's been an Achilles heel for the Aggies this season, it has been their lack of their inability to make free throws. And in this tournament so far, they're right at 71%, which is a lot better than their overall yearly average.
28, a minute 30 to go. Back outside, 3 ball, and that falls for Nate Garvey.
Big shot.
13 points for Garvey right now, and he's 3 of 6, 50% from 3-point range.
He had a nice solid game, coming in at 13 points.
So with a minute 23 to go, still some time, 9-point game.
9-point game. That three ball changed it. You've got to apply some pressure, see if you can get some steals, and do not let the Aggies milk the clock, because they're running that flex action, flex cuts and pin downs, and then attack.
Winner goes on to play on Friday in the semifinals against the winner of tomorrow's action between Norfolk State and Coppin State University. Of course, Coach Willie Jones on that MEAC championship team in 2003.
That team had the son of the late, great Moses Malone. Malone Jr. was my leading scorer on that team. Big-time three-point shooter.
Was Blakeney on that score?
No, he was on the 95,
He was
96,
earlier. Okay.
97, 98.
Moo
Blakeney. I don't know if you remember Mike Waitrey.
Oh, yeah. I remember Mike Waitrey.
Right.
Yeah.
New York.
Yep. I remember Waitrey.
He won a championship in 90 and 2000.
Not the person you want to foul. He's done a great job. That's
Right.
Ronald Jackson at the free throw line tonight. Trying to play keep away. Dumped it inside. They're going to call player control foul. They're going to call that one on Haygood.
Charge on Haygood. Keep hope alive for the Bison.
Under a minute to go.
And that's the worst thing as far as Coach Jones is concerned, to let the Bison get to the free throw line where they can score where the clock does not run.
That foul on Cleveland. Again, Howard University at the line. Let's see if they can do anything, and they do with Kyle Foster. But when you look at the free throws they missed, that could have made the difference.
Could have made the difference. You're exactly right. They missed them at the wrong time.
17 for 22 at the line. That's 5 free throws they missed. And you put those 5 free throws on the board, it's a 2-point game.
Nail biter.
So down at the other end, they're going to shoot 2 shots. I said double bonus for both teams the rest of the way. Harold Jackson.
And the good thing,
Ronald Jackson.
Right. And the good thing about winning this game now, you got a day off.
Yes, you don't play tomorrow. You don't play till Friday.
Right. That was always important. If you get that win that wins the game, and you don't have to play again until Friday.
Especially if you're the number 1 or 2 seed.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're the number 3, 4, 5, and 6 seed, you play Thursday. You don't play till Thursday. You've been off all week, but you have to play 2 games back to back if you are successful on that Thursday in quarterfinal action.
And when we won with the Aggies in 2013, we were the 7th seed, and we played in this Wednesday game and beat the 2 seed, and now we got the day off on Thursday. So it was the same scenario. This would have been the same thing had Howard won the night. They would have gotten the day off.
Correct. They would get a day off, but more importantly, they would have had to play 3 games, though.
Yeah, they would have had to.
Yeah, because they played yesterday.
Right. But they still get that day off. You know,
in between.
Yeah.
So he just fouled out. That is Haygood. So Haygood fouls out with 12 points. So 2 players have fouled out of the game for Aggies have lost 2 players in fouling out.
And they determined that it was just a basketball play on the part of Devin Haygood.
Zion Cousins a little slow going to the sideline right now. So they're still talking things over. .41 seconds is the time remaining. 81-73 is the score. Again, in case you just joined us, earlier tonight, North Carolina Central beat Delaware State to advance to the semifinals. Winner of this game goes on to the semifinals on Friday. On the ladies' side, Maryland Eastern Shore knocked off Bethune-Cookman, the top seed. They'll go to the semifinals on Friday, while Norfolk State eliminated Howard University to advance to the semifinals. So, should be interesting down the stretch.
As both coaches just got a free timeout.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll take it. You love it for the strategy portion of it. First shot is good. Phillip Jones, he's a senior out of Atlanta. So you talk about people that Coach Blakeney will be losing. Nate Garvey's a senior. He's going to lose C.J. Williams, Phillip Jones. The rest of everybody else is coming back. Plus, I understand they have a young kid that I'm not familiar with where he's from, but I've heard they've got a couple people sitting out. And
I see the young guys in the warm-up suits over there with size. So I don't think they're managers.
No. There's like 3 of them over there.
Right.
Well, one of the young men, I know he has played this year. I'm not sure if it's Ian Lee out of Toronto, Ontario. He's in a sweatsuit over there, and he's just a freshman. So you have Ian Lee, who's a freshman. You got LaWayne Richardson, a freshman. You got Wayne Bristol, a freshman. You got Michael Barber as a sophomore. You've got Kyle Foster, who's a junior, who's coming back. He's from Bethel High.
Right here locally.
Hampton. Yes, he did. You have Zion Cousins, who's just a junior. He'll be back. You have Raymond Bethea. He's just a sophomore. And then you have Andre Toure. Now, I'm not sure what his status is. The kid, he's also out of Paris, France. He played early on in the year. Has not played much in recent games. Played 1 minute yesterday. Khalil Robinson, he's just a freshman. So it's going to be interesting for him, Coach Blakeney, to do what needs to be done to get over the hump.
Right.
Adding to his total, isn't he? Ronald Jackson makes both free throws.
20 points, 13 rebounds.
83-75. About an 8-second difference between the game clock and shot clock.
Still just a 6-point game.
But a long way to go still with 27 seconds to go. I mean, it sounds good.
Yeah. But the reality is, as you stated, that's a long way to go. Well, actually, it's 83 now. My live stats were slow getting up. Now it's 84. Yep, 9 points.
And can make it a 10-point lead. He's a man among boys, isn't he?
No doubt.
Donald Jackson makes one of two. Well, Kyle Foster not happy that he thought he got fouled on that long three-point shot. He's still looking at the referee saying, how could you miss that? He's still talking to him.
Better watch it.
Well, it doesn't matter at this point with 17 seconds.
That's true.
Kyle Foster, the junior. A lot of people coming in, which we haven't seen play for the Bison right now. Coach emptying his bench. The Wayne Richardson we talked about. We see Bethea checking into the lineup. Touré has checked in, the young man from Paris, France.
Maybe we won't have any more fouling.
This is Bethea along the baseline. Well, that's not true.
Exactly. That's just not true.
Well, there's somebody else going to the line other than Ronald Jackson, believe it or not.
And Tyler May has had an excellent game tonight.
Yeah. 10.2 seconds of time remaining. Bethea gives off trying to get it to Touré. And that's going to do it. Final score, 86. For the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, 77. For the Bison of Howard University. And the Aggies will go on to play semifinal action. That'll be on Friday here at the Scope in Norfolk. So, a good day for the Aggies. They win another one. It is their 17th win of the season. More importantly, 13th win in conference play. So for Cy Alexander and all of us here at FloHoops in Norfolk, Virginia, from the Scope, Charlie Neal saying so long. Look to see you tomorrow. Along with Cy Alexander, Charlie Neal here at the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia, as we get ready to tip it off here. University of Maryland Eastern Shore going against the Lady Eagles of Coppin State University. Of course, this Coppin State team started the year